Well, I've been wanting to tell you all about this for a while, like I said, but I was afraid the deal would fall through, and it did not. And here she sits. Whew, that's it. On the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. To go buy a parts truck. I've been wanting to tell you guys about this one for a long time, but I actually made a deal on this truck, paid for it 2 months ago. But I hadn't wanted to tell you, didn't want to jinx myself and have the deal fall through or whatever. As you all know, I have looked high and low. Well, I don't know if you know that or not, but I have, for parts for this truck, starting when I got it, which was a year and a half ago. Made a list of everything I needed. Well, 2 years ago, sorry. And went looking for parts and do an eBay search. There ain't nothing. Starting at the front, and I guess what the basic designation of the truck is. This is a 4070B. It is not an Eagle. It does have a visor like an Eagle has, but it doesn't have some of the other details like the recessed part around that. It doesn't say Eagle on the thing there. So this is just a basic fleet truck. It does have some stuff on it that is very, very difficult to find if you're trying to restore one of these. And if you see something you need other than the grill, headlight rings, holler at me. Stuff I'm going to use, I'll tell you about. Now this steel bumper, it's got some battle scars in it, some brakes. I don't need this, I already have an aluminum one, but it is definitely fixable, so I'll either keep it or maybe fix it and sell it, I don't know. This truck does have these little bumper lights. I need one. I've got two, but one's busted. It has two of these in pretty good shape. The inner parts, the little fins are broke, so I might try to take it apart, see if I can fix it. All right, these guys, not surprisingly, broken fiberglass. They pretty much all are. But the grill, on the other hand, it's got just a few very minor wrinkles, but more importantly, it has no rust. And that is extremely hard to find these grills in good condition. Does unfortunately have button snaps, which could be replaced with like rivet heads, something that's a little more pretty than a button snap. And so does the trim. Trim's in good shape again, except for the button snaps. Now, most trucks that we're working in anything north of Oklahoma, basically anywhere where there's real winter weather, pretty much all of them had button snap covers so that you could keep the heater as warm as you could get it and the operating temperature as warm as you could get it. This one does not have radiator shutters. My Eagle does. I've been needing one of these real bad. This one has a pretty good one, clean up great. Now, as far as the grill goes, this is in way better shape than the one that I had on my truck, but I spent a ton of time on mine, welding up splits and doing body work on them, so I don't know which one I'm gonna run in the truck. I'll save this. I'll probably pull this off real quick to keep it from getting damaged by a tree falling on it or whatever while it's sitting back here. But which one I run, I don't know. The other one, like I said, I'll paint it the brightest, shiniest, stainless, silverish kind of look, kind of similar to this as I can get, kind of similar to match hopefully what my polished stuff will look like. Anyways, the front end's great. This is what KO'd this truck. They hit it with a combine and it's just caved in area under the windshield, knocked a giant hole in it, punched a hole in it here. This, you can't really see it real well, but this whole section is wiped out. More importantly, well, that could be fixed. Well, you can kind of see how smashed it is. But it also buckled the floor up in here. There's some damage up there by the hinge. So, not to mention some damage right there that's been patched. I'm not sure what's going on there, but a lot of these split out and crack, including mine. It'd be a crack like somewhere in here. Anyways, that's just kind of what happened with the crash there and why she was parted out. She was a nice rig, had full set of polished wheels, aluminum Alcoas, which they kept. The guy that I bought this truck bought it for the engine, so he pulled the engine and walked away from the rest. So under here, it is pretty much exactly like mine. Has power steering, still has the lift cylinders that I assume probably work, or they would have had a heck of a time trying to get the motor out, and it's all hooked up, so I assume that all still works. Also has, I think, an ether injection, which mine does not have. Now, this cab is not identical to mine. This sleeper, this cab is longer. I'll show you inside. It's got more length in this section here. On a shorter cab, mine's about here. These wider ones, well, longer. That section is wider. So the cab is different. It also had a set of handles. Mine is missing all this stuff. I have nothing here except some wire hooks. So I have that now. Unfortunately, the back of the cab is also wrecked. Don't know whether that was from the accident or what, but there are some sections here I could cut out, like up there where mine's smashed. I could take that out and use it on mine, and mine has some big old splits there and there. So I could potentially cut this off and use it. I don't know yet. To tow it, we had to pull the stack off and the riser pipe for the intake. Now, keeping with the kind of the front end part of the truck, the battery box is kind of hacked. It does come with 2 batteries. This is damaged. I'm not sure how that happened. Farm truck kind of thing. Now, this truck does have both stock fuel tanks, and mine does not. Unfortunately, they're both damaged. But at some point in time, if I put stock tanks on it, I can reuse these. The ends are damaged, so I would still have to probably get new barrels put on it. A couple of people have suggested doing that, including my buddy up in Wisconsin. He's got a beautiful Transtar, Trevor. He had the same thing done, used those on his. So it's got a cab jack on it. This one is not of stock type, or I don't think so anyways. They pulled the cab latch assembly stuff off to get the engine pulled out of it, but everything is pretty much there, including this 10-speed. I assume it's a 10-speed. I haven't, run any numbers or anything on it or looked at the tag, but it was apparently in good working order, and it just came with the truck. So that, I'm gonna need to get the thing indoors and cover that up before it gets any more rust on it. This truck also has a good set of air tanks, but I've been doing some measuring on mine, and I am not going to be able to use the stock tanks. The diameter is too large, so I have to buy new air tanks. But for future reference, I got a good set, undamaged set, if I ever put this whole combo back on it. So I'm going to have a couple of sets of brackets. I'm going to have all kinds of stuff for that. It comes with quarter fenders, which I don't like. I want to get the full-on wrapped fenders. I'll show you a picture of what kind of I would like to run on it. So, moving on to something else that is totally different from mine. This thing has what I guess was an optional tall frame. I mean, it's substantially taller than mine. Mine's about this tall, and this one's, forget, I measured it, something like 14 inches. So this thing has a real beefy, tall frame in it, way taller than mine, and it's appears to be in really good shape. So if any of you out there would be interested in buying this frame, I don't know why, unless you were doing like a stock type restoration. A lot of guys are just chopping the back off and clipping them, which at some point in time I might do to mine, but more than likely I'll keep it stock. It does have a radiator. I would assume it was working because it was a running driving truck. What else? This being a taller or a longer cab, the exhaust stack brackets have a setback. They bolt to the same place, but on mine it's more straight up. These are, so that'll wrap up kind of the front of the deal. I'll also have extra grab irons. We get up on top, it's got a good set of horns on it, and more importantly, it's got some good light housings up top. I'll show you those in a minute. She's singled out in the back. A couple of tires are usable, better than the ones I got on mine, so those might make the swap. The rear suspension, pretty much same as mine. Haven't really messed with that or looked at that much. Don't care, mine's in good shape, but I do have an extra set of axles. And I have not run any numbers on them. I have no idea what gears they have. Got one new brake chamber. So this part's pretty much identical to mine. Now, one huge score here is this guy. These are incredibly hard to find that aren't rusted up, and this thing is just mint. This was a huge score. I mean, if I was to try to buy one of these, it'd probably $500 minimum, and it's in remarkable shape. So I think it's steel, I'm not sure. I have to put a magnet on it. It looks like steel, so debating on getting that chromed, but just from looking at it, it would probably clean up really, really nice. Just, you know, light steel wool. Here's a tank on the other side. Big split there that was welded and it's kind of dented in the front, dented there. But at least I have two more straps. I didn't even have the tank or strap when I bought mine. Another difference, like I said, with this stack being, you know, offset, it also has the offset neck assembly for the air filter. My snorkel here is damaged, so another good score I needed. The other side is pretty much the same. Again, got a new set of handles. I am super excited about this truck. This does not have front brakes on it. Being a, you know, fleet service truck, it's a little cheaper, but it does have brand new hubs with the clear oil level things. One of mine is damaged real bad, so these are a good score. These will both definitely go on my truck. So this was out of Meriden, Iowa. So if you see anything on this truck that I haven't mentioned that I'm already going to use, hit me up. Also has one good windshield on this side. I need both. So again, that's a good score. Definitely not selling that one. My buddy Trevor is wanting the visor, so if it's in good shape, it'll be going to him. Well, let's climb up in the inside. All right then. So on the interior side, this has a different interior than mine as far as colors and everything. This one has the tan. Mine had the red. Now the damage in this truck also got into the door, which I don't need one, but you can see the damage up in there. So this thing took a heck of a shot by that combine. One thing I had been looking for real hard with no luck was a factory style seat, which this one has. So that was a huge score. I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked and had no luck there. And anybody that had a seat in a truck, they were tore up and didn't want to use them. Most of the trucks have been, you know, when that all failed, the air rides part, they just put newer stuff in them, like Peterbilt seats or whatever. So most of these trucks you see have a mismatched seat in them that doesn't match the other seat. Usually they're gray or blue and don't match anything in the truck. So super excited about that because I'm going to have my passenger seat and that one recovered here shortly. So let's climb up there. All right, well, the interior of this truck is dusty, but it is in far better condition than mine was. And the biggest treasure trove of parts for this truck is in here, starting with this steering wheel. I'll show you a picture of what mine looks like. I really just hate the steering wheel in mine. This one I just love. It's not immaculate. It's got a few little splits, you know, just, I could probably actually refinish this or leather wrap it or something, but as it sits, I love the steering wheel. Got that really cool badge in the middle of it, aluminum 3-spoke, kind of muscle car-ish. You know, my full-time job is that. Moving on to the gauges, these are dusty, but it has pretty much a full matching set of gauges. Mine does not. It has all the air vents, everything work. Mine are all mismatched, rusty. So it's got all the extra parts that I'm gonna need there. They're unbolted, not sure why. Potentially getting the speedometer disconnected, I'm not sure. So on the pedals, got quite a bit of wear. So the mileage is 005,102. So it probably just turned 1,000,000 miles. Has a set of keys. Everything in the dashboard is much better condition than mine. I mean, probably not going to use this, but like, it's beautiful. Very well maintained truck. On mine, I'm going to probably tear all the stuff out and refinish the wood grain on mine. So the Eagle had the wood grain dash, if you didn't know that. This also has a bunch of these that are in good shape. A bunch of mine are broke. I'll show you those. So, I mean, this stuff's very difficult to find. Most of the stuff you do find, guys don't want to mess with tearing the truck apart. Ooh, didn't see that guy. Whew, stay away from him. And probably what I'm most excited about, other than the factory seat and steering wheel, is this dash. This dash is absolutely gorgeous. You're thinking, yeah, it's ugly brown, but it is unbroken. All the hinges are in good shape. It's not all weather cracked. This was a huge score. Pretty much all of that stuff in mine are just broke. The hinges are completely broke out. You can just pick it up with, you know, without undoing any screws. So that is a huge score. I'm so excited about that. I'll probably say that 1,000 times in this truck, but it's just a kind of a thin plastic. The Eagle had this same thing, but it was covered in red vinyl. So I probably won't do that because it's very difficult in the aftermarket, you know, reupholstery jobs to get vinyl to stick to something like that. So it's more likely that I will just clean this up and dye it red to match the rest of the interior. Now moving on, this truck has all these panels up in the top, all of them in substantially better shape than mine. Mine are all busted up. Again, I'll show you pictures. This is just a score here, because trying to find all this stuff, you spend a lot of money trying to round stuff up, and a lot of money in shipping, especially the bigger the parts are. Like this dash, it'd be very difficult to ship that without breaking it. Like all the air conditioning stuff's in good shape. Got an extra flywheel there. The other factory seats sitting here. It's not factory covering there, but another thing is all these interior plastic pieces are in great shape, much better than mine. Mine are, some of mine aren't broken, but they do have pretty good scratches and weather checking and stuff. Now I was telling you this cab is a little longer. See that little filler piece right there? That's how much longer the cab is, including that little vinyl section there. I'll show you a video of mine. Basically, on a shorter cab truck, that centerpiece would not be there. In this front panel, see those two screws would just be bolted right to there. Well, rather it'd be this way, but you know what I'm saying? That little filler piece would be gone, and that would be gone. So it's just... Now, on the sleeper part of the deal, it's got all the panels that are supposed to be in it, the air conditioning ducts, the lights, the switches. A lot of this stuff was torn out of mine. Like I was missing speaker grills. So this was a huge score, just finding all this stuff intact, including this guy here. There's a sharp metal edge right here that cuts right through these vinyls, and these just get ripped to shreds. that thing is intact. It's not perfect, but it is at least there, as well as this guy. Mine had it, but it was all the button snaps were ripped out of it. I'm probably going to get a red one rebuilt for my truck from scratch, but this one will make a much better pattern. Basically, I can just take it off, take it to my upholstery guy. He can measure it all out, add just a tiny bit of material, you know, from shrinkage from this vinyl being old, but that'll serve as a perfect pattern for mine. Mine's missing the speaker grills too. So interior of this truck, huge win. Overall, just I'm super happy about it. Shifter and stuff is different, it's being a 10-speed. Another detail, the TranStar Eagles had a power window right there. Had a button in the dash and power window. I already told you when I got my truck, all the guts and everything were gone for the electric, or the air-operated window. It's air-operated, not electric. I knew that. Anyways, everything was missing in there, and the window was held up by a piece of wire that was hooked over the top of the door. So, like I said, last summer, I think, I found one of these doors just like this one in a junkyard, and I put the manual regulator in it because it already had all the holes and everything for it. So mine is basically has that set up, and probably will keep it. But now I got a good door, or a good window crank. All the chrome stuff in here is in excellent shape, with the exception of this one. Don't know where that one went, but handles, everything's all mint. Super happy with this. That's the filler panel. So this cab was, looks like about 3 inches longer than mine. So this is what I had been wanting to tell you guys about for a long time. This is literally thousands of dollars worth of parts and months worth of searching saved by having it all here in one shot. So if you see something you need on your truck, hit me up, and if I'm not using it, I'll sell it to you. So over here on my truck, you can see how much more narrow this is right here based on the handle. The other one's like that much wider on both sides. Also scored a good armrest off the other one. You can see what mine looks like. Pretty bad. Well, let's hop up into my gauges. Don't all match. Air ducts are broke. Tacks rusted. Speedometer's rusted. That fuel gauge doesn't match the other ones. A bunch of these are broke. See, just the bezels. Lens is messed up on that one. Like I said, I'm either going to clean this up or just probably redo that covering. Not crazy about wood grain myself, but it is correct for, you know, the truck. So, oh yeah, that one's busted, spring brake one. So, if I can, I'm going to refinish it. Basically, I don't want any extra holes, stuff or anything stupid or whatever. It's kind of my goal. All my vinyl and stuff's tore out already. You see it laying there all busted up under the carpet. Another thing, see that right there? See, I was telling you it doesn't have that filler piece, nor does it have the vinyl back there. And like I said, see the speaker holes busted in that piece. A lot of this stuff's in pretty bad shape. The bezel for the radio thing's all busted out there and there. This is all split in really poor condition. See, the things are all yucky and split. So all that stuff in that parts truck, like that one, the big split in it, all that stuff in that parts truck are really, really good shape. Far better than what this one is. The sleeper stuff's a little different. The plastic is pretty much the same, but the Eagles had the big padded headrest or armrest or footrest, and same with back there. I don't know what you'd use that for. I guess if somebody was sleeping in there and you got rear-ended, it wouldn't bounce you off the back of the sleeper. I'm just joking. I know that's not why it was. Mine's got these, but having an extra set is pretty beneficial. About all I can reuse out of the factory interior as far as the vinyl and stuff is these pieces here. All that other stuff will be used as a pattern. So, as you can see, this is why I was so excited about getting this parts truck. And you can also see the vinyl, which I think is just, yeah, you can tell. It's just wrapped directly over the factory plastic. I guess another option would be just to repair those pieces if I wanted to go with the vinyl covering. I can't go with that because it's faded and torn, but if it's getting covered, I could go ahead and just fix the hinges. But having a good set is freaking phenomenal. It's great. Well, thanks for joining me on this round. It's probably not as exciting for you as it is for me, but huge win. Super happy about this. Couldn't be happier. I guess it could be if it had a full set of aluminum Alcoas, but can't win every race. As always, I appreciate you all, and stay tuned for the next one.